What's up, guys? Daryl from Smart Shooters, and today I'm coming with 7 tips for concealed carry. If you're new to concealed carry, you just took my Smart Shooters class or a class with any other certified great instructor in the United States of America. A lot of CPL classes don't really equip you with what to do next. So today I want to make a video and talk to you guys about 7 tips that you should definitely do after you get that CPL. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Lots of free insight, gun reviews, some tips, some tricks, clips from my classes, lots of dope content. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you like this video, all right? If I provide you with some value, make sure you like this video. All right, concealed carry tip number 1 is to get a firearm you can actually conceal. A lot of people make the mistake of going to buy a gun, again, based on somebody else's recommendations without actually going to the range and trying it for yourself. But part of trying it for yourself is actually walking through, can I conceal this firearm? I am 6'5", 280 something pounds, so it is very easy for me to conceal a big firearm, especially now headed into the winter months. I wear more layers. I am more layers. So it's a lot easier for me to conceal carry something larger versus somebody who was 5'5", 130 pounds. They may have a hard time concealing a bigger gun. So make sure you get something that you actually can conceal. Number 2, think through when and where you plan to carry. Some states don't allow you to carry everywhere you go. Some states only allow you to carry in certain spaces. On top of that, some people just aren't comfortable carrying everywhere. Are you gonna have to carry around children? Are you gonna have to carry in public places? You're gonna carry somewhere where you're isolated and by yourself? Maybe because you have to go in a parking ramp on a late night. Do you work a job where you have to be touched a lot? Where you have to have people brushing up against you and brushing past you? That's constant people feeling on that firearm. We don't want to carry something that doesn't match when and where we plan to carry. Gonna carry under a lot of layers. That's what we gotta focus on. I would argue that number 1 and number 2 could actually go hand in hand, but you definitely got to consider when and where you plan to carry. Number 3, get a holster that's actually made for your firearm. All right, now, for all intents and purposes, as we always do, firearm is clear. And pointed in a safe direction. You want something that's actually molded. This is actually molded for this particular firearm. You want something that's made for your gun. We're gonna go over the 5 things in our next video that make a good holster. But one of the things for me, I need to be able to swing it all around and it's not falling out of there, because I need it to be secured when I'm carrying it on my person. Avoid the $8.99 Walmart joints, all right? Avoid the $12.99 Amazon holsters. Get something that's actually molded and shaped for your specific firearm. Number 4 is carry the proper ammo. All right, for self-defense rounds, we want hollow point ammunition. We don't want to shoot full metal jackets. Full metal jackets are for the gun range. They're for plinking off steel. They're for putting holes in pieces of paper. This is what we want for self-defense. It's called a hollow point because the point is hollowed out. Now, what makes this the best self-defense round? Hollow point ammunition is designed to stop in the body of the attacker. All right, these are designed to hit and expand, hopefully preventing over penetration. Nothing is guaranteed, of course, but it prevents, to the best of its abilities, over penetration. Whereas a full metal jacket will probably pass through an attacker and keep going until it hits something hard enough to stop it. We'll dive more into that. If you ever take a class with me, you can take even a virtual class where I talk about caliber and ballistics and things like that. You can sign up for a virtual class. I teach every Wednesday. I'm gonna put that link right there. Anyways, hollow points are for self-defense. You'll know when you have hollow points at the gun store because a box of 20 of these is about a box of 54 metal jackets. Like, they're pretty expensive. That being said, spend the money. Don't be cheap. Trying to defend yourself with 4 metal jackets is a horrible option in your personal protection plan. And I definitely, as an instructor, can't co-sign on that. Tip 5 is to think practical and tactical. What I mean by that is you have to do things practically. When you think about where do you carry your firearm? Is it on your hip? Where on your hip? Is it in a appendix position? Is it in a 3 o'clock position? Is it in a 5 o'clock position? Where are you going to carry that firearm where it practically makes sense? But then you also want to start setting things up tactically. And what I mean by that is, what kind of setup do you want to have to best protect yourself? Now, I live in Michigan where I am allowed to have firearms in my vehicle, although we never leave firearms in vehicles because our vehicles are not holsters. But if you were driving somewhere, where is that firearm staged in the vehicle where if you needed to get to it, you could? Same thing at home with home defense, right? Where, if this is your one and only firearm that you can still carry and use for home defense, where is it staged when you're at home? If you're at home in the kitchen cooking dinner, where's the firearm? So if something was to happen, you could get to it and properly defend yourself. That's what I mean by thinking practical and tactical. I don't want you to think that you need to go buy a bunch of equipment or things like that and go get a bunch of rigs and a body armor and things. And that all could be a part of your personal protection plan. But what I want you to focus on more than anything is practical, tactical thinking. What makes sense if at any moment in life, wherever you are, is your setup the best setup to defend your life properly? Tip number 6, dry fire often, okay? Dry fire is simply running through all the motions of using your firearm, but there's absolutely no ammunition. Why is this beneficial? It's beneficial because of muscle memory. We want to do things consistently and as same as we can get it every single time. We want to make our process so repetitive that we can do it without thinking about it. And the reason we want to be able to do it without thinking about it is because under stress, our higher brain is almost guaranteed to check out. All right. The amygdala in your brain has a direct connection to the motor cortex, which means it's going to make a decision for you to do something while jumping past the logic and reasoning parts of your brain. Under stress, your brain really doesn't have the capacity to try to make logical decisions. Therefore, we have to make things as repetitious as possible, as consistent as possible, and consistent using the right and proper techniques, because whatever we practice without stress, our body is going to do under stress. What you never practice without stress, your body will not properly do under stress. All right, so you have to practice. Dry fire is a great way to do that, okay? Dry fire, you can practice drawing from your holster. You can practice counting down your trigger break and your trigger reset. Those are things that you want to know to maximize your effectiveness when shooting your firearm. Those are things you can practice without ammunition, and practice anywhere in your home where it's safe. Now, there are certain ways to dry fire, and I highly recommend that you follow those. Like clearing all ammunition from the room, making sure there's no live ammunition in the room. We don't even want a chance of an accidental discharge. Next, making sure that we always put our firearm in a safe direction. Even though we're dry firing, God forbid, if something was to accidentally discharge, we still want to point in a safe direction where nobody's gonna get hurt. All right. And then when you're done, you want to make sure that you clear the room as well. You want to make sure that magazines are back where they go, the gun goes back where it goes, and everything is nice and smooth. Your self-defense ammo, if you're using the one and only self-defense weapon, you want to make sure that the proper magazine gets loaded back. You don't want to walk around with an empty mag because you were dry firing and forgot to switch back to your self-defense mag. So those are the types of things you got to keep in mind while dry firing. And we'll do some future videos on some dry fire drills you can run coming up real soon. Now, tip number 7 is going to be a little controversial for people, and I already know that. All right, this is probably one of the most debated topics of all time when it comes to concealed carrying. And tip number 7 from me to you is that you got to get comfortable carrying one in the chamber. What that means is that not only do we carry with a full magazine, but there's a live round racked inside of our chamber, so that way should a threat arise, all we have to do is draw and pull the trigger. Now again, this firearm is clear. I was just simply demonstrating. But that actually is the reason that we want to carry with one in the chamber. So many things can go wrong in a self-defense incident. Self-defense incidents happen fast, they happen close, and usually when shots are fired, multiple shots are fired. Knowing this, you want to give yourself the best opportunity to win the fight. Carrying with one in the chamber gives you really one less thing to think about. Also, because of the effects of adrenaline, when our adrenaline dumps and our body pulls blood away from our extremities, our hands and our feet, and puts it to our major organs, one of the side effects is we lose manual dexterity and fine motor skills. Those same motor skills that you lose happen to be the same motor skills that it takes to grab and slide a rack back. Or in some cases, even to let down a safety. That doesn't mean safeties are bad. It just means you have to practice raising and lowering that safety every time you handle your firearm. And this is no different. If you're not gonna carry with one in the chamber, you need to practice racking that slide on the draw every time you draw. But I would recommend that you really get comfortable carrying with one in the chamber. Some people think it's scary. Some people think the gun will just magically go off. Some people say, but if there's one in the chamber, then they feel like they got to be extra cautious with their gun. And that is great. You should have that level of caution anyway. Carry with one in the chamber as soon as possible. Get yourself comfortable with. So a quick review of my 7 tips. Number 1, get a firearm that you can actually conceal. Number 2, think through and plan through when and where you plan to carry. All right, number 3, get a holster that's actually made for your firearm. No other Walmart joints, no cheap joints. All right, number 4, carry the proper ammo. Again, we're using hollow point ammunition. We are not walking around with full metal jackets loaded in our firearm. Number 5, think practical and tactical. All right, think about no matter where you are, is your firearm set up in the best way so that should a threat arise, you're in the best position to win the fight. Number 6, I want you to dry fire often, okay? I want you to practice drawing from concealment. I want you to practice the steps. We have great videos where my team, actually Nick and Cassie, were working on drawing from concealment. And they'll walk you through the steps: clearing the garment, establishing grip, clear the holster. They'll walk through the whole process with you. And then lastly, carry wood around in the chamber. It's gonna take time. I can't lie. When I got my CPL, it took me about a year to be comfortable carrying with one in the chamber. But you can do it. I believe in you. Yes, it requires more discipline. It's kind of the point. Well, guys, that's my 7 tips for carry and conceal. You took CPL class. These 7 tips I feel like could get you in the game to what's next. What do you think I forgot? Did I forget anything? Do you guys feel like there should be something else on this list? If so, drop it down in the comments. Let me know what I forgot. Otherwise, if I didn't, simply just give me a good job, Daryl, in the comments. All right, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got great videos coming out. Don't want to miss out. All right. Make sure you tap in and take classes with us. You can learn more about us at www.smart-shooters.com. I'll put the website right here somewhere. And love y'all. Peace.